Let's start with Joe Biden. Who's that? That name sounds so familiar. But anyway, what did he do?
President Biden is continuing his historic trip to Angola as he becomes the first U.S. president to visit the southern African nation. Biden is expected to announce new U.S.-backed infrastructure projects in the region, including the redevelopment of a major railway that carries critical minerals that are used in batteries and electric vehicles.
I know that look. That's the face I make when I ask someone how their weekend was, and instead of saying good, they actually answer the question. I mean, he looks so uninterested, it would have been less rude to just put on a VR headset at that point. It's like, I'm fine, I'm still listening to you, I'm just on a roller coaster, whoa! But hey, don't worry, Biden might have at least one fun thing planned for his last few days in office.
Tonight, Politico reports that the Biden administration is currently debating preemptive pardons for prominent figures who have spoken out against Trump. Those who could face exposure include Senator-elect Adam Schiff, former GOP Representative Liz Cheney, and Anthony Fauci. White House officials, however, are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who've committed no crimes, both because it could suggest impropriety and because those offered preemptive pardons may reject them.
Man, pardons are getting so confusing. I mean, it used to be that you had to commit a crime to be pardoned, but now Biden has to do this weird, like, Minority Report pre-pardon thing, where it's like, hey, we know you didn't do anything, but Trump thinks you did something, so I'm going to pardon you for anything you did, even though you didn't do it. It's what our founders would have wanted. Also, who in their right mind would reject a presidential pardon? I mean, do you want to go to jail? That's where Diddy is. Okay, look, if you're gonna reject a pardon, just give it to me, okay? I'll take it. Hand it over. I'll probably need it if Donald Trump comes after me for political satire, or speaking truth to power, or opening a credit card in my roommate's name, all right? Any of those things. Anyway, let's move on, because the story that everyone is talking about isn't in Washington, D.C. It's right here in New York City! Whoa! Where manhunt continues for a man accused of carrying out a targeted hit on a health insurance CEO. And investigators have been finding clues in some surprising places.
Urgent manhunt. Police looking for the man who gunned down the CEO of United Healthcare.
NBC News has learned that the words deny, defend, and depose were on the shell casings at the scene of the shooting.
Investigators believe this could be a reference to what's called the 3 Ds of insurance, a known reference made by critics of the health insurance industry.
To write something on something this small, and I mean, John, picture how you would try to do that. Would you take a fine point Sharpie? Would you try to scratch it in?
Would you train a mouse to write on it with some kind of mouse crayon? I mean, who gives a f how he wrote it? It's not important how he wrote it. What's important is that he wrote it, okay? This guy knows that there's so many bullet casings on the streets of New York, and he wanted to make sure we knew which ones were his, right? And now, yeah, I don't know if we should be applauding that. And now they're trying to interpret what deny, defend, and depose means. And it looks like it's either a criticism of the health insurance industry, or this guy was just trying to solve the Wordle on his bullets or something. Honestly, I think all bullets should probably say stuff on them. I mean, how else are we going to get Americans to read again, right? We should load up a machine gun with A Tale of Two Cities written in it. I mean, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. But now, the cops just need to narrow down their list of suspects to anyone in America who hates their healthcare plan and has access to guns. It should be solved in no time. And there's one other thing that might help them piece this together.
The NYPD is processing forensic evidence the suspect left behind at a nearby Starbucks just before the shooting.
Okay, you stopped at a Starbucks on your way to your assassination. I mean, it's like, oh, you know me, I can't even think about murdering until I've had my coffee. This is helpful, though, because the guy went to the Starbucks. So we now know he's either a tourist or a local who really needed to take a shit. And if he did use the bathroom, they'll definitely have his DNA because 99% of Starbucks bathroom users somehow miss the toilet. But that's not the only major crime story today. We also have crime in the skies.
New questions after an airport security breach. Federal investigators are looking into how a stowaway boarded a flight from New York to Paris at the height of holiday travel.
Svetlana Dali managed to bypass the document check podium as well as the gate agent before boarding Delta Flight 264 from JFK to Charles de Gaulle Airport.
Dali was caught when a flight attendant noticed that she was going from bathroom to bathroom because she didn't have a seat on the plane.
Okay, first of all, that's not what a stowaway is, okay? A stowaway has to hug the wheel or hang onto the wing like Tom Cruise. If you're just inside the plane without a seat, you're not a stowaway. You're just losing at musical chairs, okay? And if security is so lax, hey, maybe I should have just left that bottle of shampoo in my backpack instead of trying to smuggle it out my ass. I mean, am I crazy? Like, how did she do this? Airport security is so complicated now. Like, they have ropes and the dogs and the machines and people and the scanner that like takes your naked photo and posts it on the internet. Like, what kind of secret agent acrobatics did she have to do to get past all of that?
She first used a lane reserved for flight crews and then skirted the standard ID check. But she went through a body scanner and voluntarily removed 2 bottles of water that officers discovered in her bags.
Oh, that's it? That's it. We give TSA $10 billion a year, and all they got was her water. TSA is like, hey, we literally don't care who you are or what you plan on doing. Just do not stay hydrated. For more on this story, let's go live to the airport with Grace Kuhlenschmidt. Grace, how did this woman evade airport security?
Beats the f out of me, Ronnie. The way she did it made it look like they don't pay attention if you sneak through the flight crew line, but they do pay attention, especially when you yell, "Made it!"
Okay, what the hell, Grace? We sent you down there to interview the TSA. Why are you under arrest?
Because I'm a reporter and I wanted to report on what it's like to get a free flight to the Bahamas for 2 weeks. That's how dedicated I am to the pursuit of the truth.
Okay, look, Grace, it's not your job to get arrested sneaking through a flight crew lane.
I didn't. They almost arrested me, but then I pointed at a guy and told them he had 3.1 ounces of sunscreen. They beat the living shit out of him, and I got to the gate.
Okay, but you didn't have a boarding pass.
Yeah, it turns out if you put your phone down on that ticket scanner and just say beep, they'll totally let you through.
Okay, right, but you didn't have a seat.
I actually was able to find a seat way up front, but apparently only the pilot is allowed to sit in the cockpit, which seems super strict. Did something like happen?
Okay, wait. So once you got on the plane, that's how they got you?
No, I guess they thought I was the pilot, so they let me fly the plane. But my landing, it was a little bumpy, and that's when they caught me. They're super sharp, these guys.
Okay, Grace, do you have anything to report on at all?
Yes. It turns out there is an interesting new wrinkle to this story, which is I need a pardon. Yeah. Did you know all of this was a federal crime?
Okay, yeah, I hear Joe Biden's handing them out right now. Grace Kuhlenschmidt, everyone. Hey.